All right, excelente. Welcome to week 15. Fireworks galore. I hope you're still around and you haven't blown off a hand in the process. But yes, welcome Dave, Larry. We got Adolfo. Welcome Joe, Kurt, Free, and Flav. All right, excelente.
Oh,
Let's
it's
go.
Priya.
Priya, sorry, my apologies. And
Yep.
which part of Mexico are you from again? Or at
Oh,
least phoning
well,
in from?
no, I'm not from Mexico. I'm from America,
I know, but
but
you're living in.
yeah, I
Yeah.
now live in San Miguel de Allende.
Okay. Very cool.
It is the safest city in the whole country, and it's where a bunch of American expats are.
The question is it a beach or not?
No,
Ah,
It's
sorry, you want a
it's
beach, and you want the beach plus the crime? Go and head anywhere else.
yeah.
Where I am, there's no crime, but no beach.
Okay. How inland is this?
Up
cost
in the
of living
mountains.
cost of living is about what, 20% of here?
It's like 20% less of
Oh, really?
there. Yeah, because
Oh,
the peso, every one US dollar is, well, the last I looked at it changes day by day, is 20 pesos. It changes between 17 up to 20 pesos. That's what I've seen in the 2 years that I've been here. I don't know what it is today.
okay.
MXN. There you go.
Here's the 10-year. I've
Yep.
never
So,
looked at this before, but wow, cool.
yeah, it changes drastically.
Excellent. Very cool. All right. We got a Mexican news correspondent now. All right, the army is good. Excellent. Word on the street. All right, cool. We got lots of weekly highlights. Obviously, we will talk about tariffs, dead cat bounce, and next steps, obviously. And we will look at other sectors that the media is ignoring. So, shout out to all of the gold guys. It's going to be tough for the fund managers to explain to their boss, hey, I sold our gold because XYZ. And as we speak, gold is what, 31.53. Silver is still attending Gamblers Anonymous meetings. But yes, the gold silver ratio has pivoted up to 102.2. This is we haven't hit this realm in what, 20 since 2020 or 2021, whenever the negative oil phase was, that April, if you guys remember. But yeah, interesting. So relatively speaking, silver is very cheap compared to gold. So yeah, you'll get about one brick of silver for each ounce of gold. Definitely makes storage a little bit different if you're going long silver. It's a lot more bulky. But yes, we'll take a look at American Association of Individual Investors sentiment data and check out the question of the week. We got our commodities presentation with yours truly coming up next week. Um, and I need to still connect with Kurt and maybe Dave. So we'll chat offline. But yeah, it's been a little bit busy this week, so haven't made much progress with my slide deck. I'm adding the zero DTE non-correlated bit to that. So I think I am the tip of the spear for trading GLD on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday expiration. So that's pretty cool. So um, yeah, so we'll take a look at that. But yeah, we'll take a look at our idiots of the week in just a bit. Lots of losers and still more to be minted come expiration by tomorrow. So yeah, we'll take a look on Wall Street bets. And then for Priya's benefit, this is our sort of former May book of the month. And here's some nice rules that are sort of SVOG iron trading rules, as it were. Most of it was handed down to me from Jim Norton, the our co-founding president. And then here's how to blow up your accounts, like all the other Robin Hood Wall Street bet kids. So in case you didn't know how to blow up your account, here's how you can expedite that. All right. And then we'll take a
Oh,
look at
where's John Chernecki?
yeah, he attends the monthly meetings. So this is our weekly cadence. It's a little bit different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
This is more current events, and then the monthly meetings is a focus topic usually.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Cool.
you.
But yeah, we'll look over our big four indexes in just a bit and look at on-balance volume and put call ratios to look at the falling of the knife, as it were. And we'll take a look at CNN's Fear and Greed Index. So looking at market breadth, especially. So that'll be fantastic. And again, I left a screenshot up from, I think this is 4 weeks old now. But yes, single stock fragility is a major, major risk going forward, more than ever. But yes, we'll take a look at Stock Traders Almanac and look at Jeffrey Hirsch's research for the next coming, 60 to 90 days. And we're still paying close attention to SPX seasonality. And to get a little bit more surgical, again, shout out to Ross for getting us this data. We're looking at post-election year seasonality, especially. And we are looking for that, hopefully, potential pickup after everyone pays their taxes, hopefully, or files an extension. So, but yes, with a bull in the China shop like the Teflon Don, that might screw things up a little bit, as you may have noticed. Okay, we'll definitely look at sector rotation with stock charts, and if you have any favorite individual tickers or ETFs, let us know, and we'll take a look at the latest in rotational flow. So we'll redo these screenshots in just a bit with the live data. All right, kick ass. We'll take a look at earnings. The XLF season starts officially on the 15th, but before banks, we do have a couple of interesting tickers, if I recall vaguely. No. Oh, I guess it's all banks, really. Okay. But yeah, banks never lose, right? But again, the hedgies are blowing up left and right as their bond trades are basically unwinding. But yeah, we'll take a look at that. But yes, the banks will lead off, and then we have that big wave of tech right around the corner. So should be a very, very fun April. Yeah, holy cow. And these are a lot of these folks are really vulnerable to tariffs. And here's ASML starting off the semiconductor, trail of tears or something. We'll see what happens this year or this quarter. So yeah, lots of excitement. Keep your buying power ready. All right, and we'll take a look at swaggy stocks, and we'll have to update this with real-time data. But yeah, we'll take a look at Robinhood and the kids and see what they're trading on their phones in the bathroom of Wendy's as they're flipping burgers. But yes, getting to our core news cycle, we'll take a look at macro and econ news. And here are some, again, a couple of important screenshots that I've left up. And looking at this one in particular in hindsight feels very different, on April 10th. And again, retail was piling into Nvidia like there was no tomorrow. And that was a very disappointing earnings for folks that assumed Nvidia was just going to go up to 140, just like everyone else was expecting. But yeah, retail is always late to the party. And just looking at, we know the whales and CTAs were, unloading since late last summer into retail. So
It was
uh,
earlier than that.
yeah, yeah.
I
And
mean,
then
all of July. And so we've all been watching NVIDIA and wondering if AI is going to just bubble out and go poof.
right, it's starting, right? It's cracking. We got DeepSeek, we got other entrants into the marketplace. And we've seen, tech hype bubbles before. Like we're not, beginner traders here. So, this is
The
par for the
difference with
course.
this tech bubble, though, is that thousands of people are being laid off, so there's no buying power to buy anything in retail that Nvidia is selling. Any of their contracts that they're trying to do with Steam and Valve, anything, it's just there's no buying power for anything that they're selling. Also, there's the lies that AI is supposed to help the tech workers, and yet software engineers are now this year being laid off. Salesforce is no longer hiring
Correct. That's right.
for the
Hiring
rest of this
freeze.
year. Yeah, so even Mark Benioff, there's a little
Yep.
blurb on YouTube from Mark Benioff that and Salesforce is just not going to hire anyone else, which is the exact opposite of what he said at Dreamforce last year.
Yep. Thanks, CRM. Good times. So yeah, retail is always late to the party. So yeah, we'll keep our eye on the ball here, and yeah,
Remember virtual reality.
the metaverse, yay! Good times.
I remember virtual reality from '91.
Yeah. But yeah, welcome, Ross, our Indian correspondent has joined. Looks
I
like,
think there was 3D TV a couple of times too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was out with the little red or whatever glasses, red and blue glasses.
yeah.
That goes back to the '70s, I think.
All right.
Crazy stuff.
All right, welcome KS. Just repasted the session notes for you. But yeah, again, left these older screenshots for the macro situation. They're still really relevant. So it hasn't changed. And now, especially with Warren Buffett, he's looking like a freaking genius sitting on the sidelines with his piles of cash, right? So yeah. Um,
But does he?
that's a
Well, no,
clue.
think about it. He started bailing in like March, definitely in April. He was bailing. Everybody knew he was bailing in May last year.
He bailed in December. Yeah,
Well,
I didn't.
he started a really long time ago. It takes forever for him to get out. But you think about it, he lost all of that time going forward. Is he ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know. I'm just thinking out loud.
yeah.
I hate to call him the smartest guy in the world ever.
I think maybe the first 20 years of his career, that's legitimate. But once he joined the Goldman Sachs board, it was all over. Then it's just white collar crime, especially with Wachovia and all that baloney. But yeah,
So him owning an insurance company, that was incredibly smart, innovative, rocket science guy. But
that's a great move. We should all,
buy and hold was not necessarily superstar stuff.
yeah. Cigar butts, right? Benjamin Graham. The market's kind of evolved since then, maybe in a bad way. Okay, but yeah, we don't have time to unpack monetary history just yet. But yes, Japan's melting down. We're sacrificing them. We'll take a look at our EWJ shorts. And again, uncertainty is the word of the day. And yeah, this I believe is 3 weeks old as well. And yes, the global markets has had enough of America despite tariffs. And bond vigilantes are looking out, no doubt. But yes, here's our March summary of best and worst. And it does really seem like that copper trade has ended. And silver has been taken out to the woodshed and shot. And gold is really coming up. So yeah, we'll take a look at that, of
And then
course.
before you leave that, I went and looked it up. The market cap of the whole U.S. stock market is only 52 trillion, and you compare that to 37 trillion in debt. I mean, it's just insane that two-thirds of the stock market could go to pay off the debt.
Crazy. Crazy. And then I just looked up local Chinese municipality debt, and that's 60 trillion as well. So that's all the money that the local land sales were funding. So if you think about the 70 trillion dollars of real estate that's imploding in China, and then there's 60 trillion of local bonds written against those profits or as collateral. It's just freaking insane. The way it's fragmented and just risk is leveraged across the board. But yeah, insane. Shout out to fellow Coke addict Don Kaufman at Deal Trade. This latest video summary from the other day was totally on point. I think it was yesterday's, and he was pointing out that the bounce back yesterday, the 12% move, was actually within the 1 week expected range for SPX, like to the penny almost. So if you look at Don Coffin's work, he is obsessive about expected move and standard deviation theory, and really played out really well. So I would really encourage you to check out this video. Great 10-minute explanation of the overall scene. Cool. But yeah, we'll take a look at overall macro situation. We'll look at the latest in tariff data. We got to talk about the hedgies blowing up alongside them and their basis trade. So we'll take a look at that. And I got some great analytics on the VIX if you guys have been watching that. And yesterday it stayed very elevated. So We'll take a look at that evolution and see if milking VIX is even possible, or maybe we've reached a new plateau and we'll stay above 20 and live in that 20 to 30 zone, kind of like the post 2020 era, if you guys recall that. But yeah, it's just different. But so yeah, we'll take a look at all of that, and again, we'll look at tariffs in detail. And this is not the true picture. The total China tariff is not 125, but 145 or 147 if you count the penalty for doing business with Venezuela. So China just is like, I don't know what they're gonna do. Xi Jinping, there's sort of like two replacements in line to get rid of him. So we'll see what's gonna happen. It's really damage control behind the scenes, at least in Beijing, from what I'm seeing. But yeah, we'll take a look at all of that. And there's also a lot of leverage ETF rebalancing. I know Adolfo was asking about the sort of 2x negative ETFs, but this kind of falls in that bucket. So we'll take a look at that. Meanwhile, Black Swan list that we've been collecting. I don't know even what to write in this next bullet point, but I guess tariffs. I mean, what else is there to say? Like, yeah, like April tariff mania. Okay,
And
and
then
then
banking fragility and hedge funds.
yes, April hedge fund basis trades blowing up. Okay.
Well, just also liquidity for bonds.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because
Bond
everybody's selling bonds.
liquidity crisis.
They're moving stuff all over the place. It
Well,
doesn't even make sense. It doesn't have to make sense.
right,
Somebody
right.
can
Over,
dump
right,
inventory anytime.
right. Overnight Monday, right? And then to capitulate, Trump had to save the day and pause tariffs before the bond market, runs off the rails. So yeah,
But
insane.
that was always an option for him.
Oh, for sure,
He,
for
he figured
sure.
this out. It's just they say that he'll blow up the world. Well, he can tweet anytime and just like change the world.
Wonderful,
Funny.
wonderful.
It's funny. I
And
He
yesterday.
actually
Said
tweeted
buy the
out
night
like
before.
buy. Yeah, that's it. He actually tweeted out buy.
yeah, saw that.
634 on Truth Social. How many of us have check Truth Social on your AM checklist? It was
Oh,
not on
hell no.
mine.
Not me.
You
I didn't
know,
know until after the market closed.
I know on my checklist is to see what's his interview schedule. Like this is legitimately what I do in the morning. Like, okay, check. What is he doing? Okay. How close is he to the microphone? But he might have his smartphone handy and then throw us all in a loop, obviously. But yeah. And welcome, Lord Tethers. All right. Just pasting the notes for you in the chat. All right,
Thanks.
cool. But
You
yeah,
guys made all the money yet? Taken all the money out of the markets and all this
trying,
chaos? Yeah.
trying, recovering from yesterday. We had
Not at all.
at least I had a soft short on and it spanked me pretty good. Holy cow. But today we will come back pretty nicely. All right.
I'm so glad I canceled my position yesterday.
It was one
Yeah.
of those days that you kick yourself for not levering up to 50 contracts.
Or sitting on your hands. It's either
Yeah,
that. It's
I
either the
know.
right direction or you did nothing.
Yeah, one of the
And just
things that I learned from modeling the 2020 and some previous crises along those lines is if it's X or if he's on, True Social, but basically these very quick snap news events that are just triggered by words, right? And so you're in a bear market, right? So like, what is it they say in reminiscences of a stock market? So like that should be your overall guideline. But then what can happen in a bear market is you can have these bear market rallies that just rip people's face off based on just, a couple of words from Elon or the president or whatever it is. So it's
but
definitely
then
worth putting that somewhere on your trading box just to be, dialed in if that sort of thing is coming online.
watch for pivot points for the reversion of mean trade is how I reduce it. And then the other one is I want to start putting on more VIX up type opportunities. I completely missed this. This was so obvious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm with you, Dave. I'm kicking myself. Like, why didn't I just bet the farm when VIX was, under 20 for how many several weeks?
You don't have to bet the farm, but you should say, how do I make
Uh,
$40,000? Some quantity that you can destroy yourself. How can I lose 8,000 versus make 40?
Yeah, the key is modeling, right? So, like, one of the things that I definitely picked up from Axia during these big geopolitical events is if you can go back and kind of model what happened in previous events. Obviously, there are going to be some differences, but there are themes that repeat. And I would say the same thing is true here. Like going back and modeling the original tariff war, from a number of years ago. All of those types of things have huge alpha for those who want to focus in on these types of geopolitical events. You can leverage really asymmetric big trades. Doesn't mean you always win, doesn't necessarily mean you always bet the farm, but you can bet big with a really high reward to risk ratio and high win ratio if you are prepared. But it's very difficult. And this was something I always struggled with when I was first learning a lot of those, what they call like news or global event trading with Axia is you can't just come into it and be like all the sheep and be like, oh, what's going on, right? And be reactive. You definitely have to have a plan in place and modeling some of these historic events. Just something to keep in mind, even if you don't have time or you don't necessarily trade it during this event, what I would highly advise anybody here doing is model this, write down some notes. This is what happened 2025 trade war. There will be another time in the future, it might be a couple of years out, where there's going to be some trades that happen during this sequence that you can go back and pick something up from. Anyway, it's just something, one of the things that I picked up from those guys was some of their traders in particular, they would trade very small size during normal market events, but then like when stuff came along like this, they were uber prepared and then they could take on really big trades, really big asymmetry during these types of events. I mean, this is definitely the time for traders versus the time for passive investors. And I say that as someone who is now essentially a passive investor, right? So I'm not just gaslighting you. Like this is the time. And if you're like, well, I didn't get what I wanted out of like this week, or I still feel unsure, then what I would recommend is start like taking really detailed notes about like what happened, when it happened, take screenshots or video of, the ladder during certain sequences where you're like, what, and especially if you really got on the wrong side of a trade, what did you do basically that was essentially a retail move and then invert that on yourself? That's how you build real alpha. Anyway, little rant off, but these are really important times and obviously it is fun. But one of the things I noticed from having gone through some of these events in the past where I felt like I got beat up, but then I didn't learn the lesson. So get beat up, learn the lesson, come back, and the next time have like an asymmetric trade and go, oh, this is what it could be different here.
Totally agree. And actually, I would go even farther. You should learn your trades. You should go back and put in the practice time. And then the place you're going to learn is you go back to where would I lose all my money and you practice on those. And the opposite is true that, you want to be able to identify the opportunity you missed, the
Yeah.
huge upside.
Yeah, and the
But
more painful it was, the more you're going to remember it. So
yeah,
turn that into alpha for yourself, right? Take that pain and channel it and go, I got screwed here or I missed out on a giant opportunity. What could I have done better? And it doesn't mean that you're always going to be perfect, right? But it's about tipping that asymmetry in your favor so that next time you're not caught as flat-footed and you're like, oh, okay, I've seen this before.
right. And the very least is you take screenshots and you write 2 lines of notes. But the right thing to do, and this is how I started, was I actually invested like the 2 or 3 hours at the end of every day to like, what did I do? But the important was you can backtest anytime. You can get your 50 practice runs before you even lost money. And you're going to learn everything from the oh my God, it all blew up in my face. That's the trade that you're going to learn the most from.
Yeah,
Nope.
100%.
Great points. Great points. And to parallel this, I've been doing a lot of like Brady research. Just like I'm not a football fanatic, but I just like Tom Brady. But in looking at how he approaches each game, him and all his receivers sit down and look at their package of plays, and they go through everything. It's like 160 of them on average to go through a game. So it's this scenario in this part of the game, this down. What do we do? All right, we get sacked. What do we do? We get fumbled. What do we do? So they look at the good, bad, and ugly scenarios and have a contingency plan for everything. And there's a bunch of oddballs on the Patriots team that have a collective esoteric skill set together between Bill and everybody that they've seen everything, which is interesting. But yeah, I thought that was kind of a interesting match to what uh, Ed and Dave were mentioning. So yeah, great points.
So
I
I
mean,
call
that's a
it,
great point.
it's your recipe book.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
recipe.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if you have oysters, you have this recipe that's all ready to go.
Right, right, right. Market crashes, you go long VIX. Like it's knee jerk. You don't waste time. You're not fumbling. It's automatic.
Yeah, and
Cool.
it's that preparation that gives you the confidence to make the right play. So one of the things we actually had a couple of guys when we were doing the Axia courses come in to speak to us about sports performance, and we actually had in some like high performance sports athletes. There was a guy who's like one of the world's best slackliners, and you can look it up. So he does these basically naked walks essentially over these cliffs. Like he talked to us about how he prepared for his Yosemite slacklining. So yeah, those folks are slacklining a couple feet above the ground, which is what you start with. But
70.
I forget the name of the gentleman, but basically he did like a Yosemite walk where he went over like portions of Half Dome, and there's no when you do it live, essentially, when you trade live, there's no backup cable. It's you and this fucking rope that you're standing on with nothing but your you know what in your hand. And so you need to be mentally, right? Physically, obviously, there's a component, but then there's a mental component.
Oh my God.
So, and he actually, I forget the gentleman's name. I'll have to go back and see if I can find it in my notes, but he actually walked us through his mental preparation process, how he did small practices. He obviously would do this walk fully tethered up, which it looks like this guy is tethered up, right, to start with. So you're fully tethered up to start, and then go through the mental exercise, the focus, the preparation. What will I do if the line wobbles like this or the wind picks up just a certain way? Like full mental preparation and detailed notes and video and stuff. So like they would check each other. So you'd have one slackliner go out, and then the other folks who were slacklining, they would watch you, they would spot you, and then they'd give you tips like, hey, when you got to this point on the line and maybe the wind moved a certain way, this is how you reacted. This is what I would recommend that you do differently. So extreme like preparation when yeah, like you're literally you're taking your life into your hands. So it's worth modeling some of these folks from sports. Obviously, the football analogy I think is great. I just think a lot of traders they don't do this level of preparation, and then they wonder, oh, how come I wasn't able to maximize, particularly during these. I mean, these big events are kind of equivalent to walking out over Half Dome with no tether, right? Like you are in an extreme situation where there's a high degree of danger to at least your financial livelihood, maybe not your physical livelihood. So sorry, that was a bit of a tangent, but
Another thing I'll never do, cave diving, slacklining across Half Dome. Like, I'm glad someone else did it for us and we can watch it on YouTube. But yeah, that's amazing. Very cool, Ed. Yeah, I'll just paste this I'll paste this link in the chat in case anyone is aspirational towards the insanity. All right. Shout out to Axia Futures here. Let me drop this link in the chat if you guys want to peruse the content. All right, cool. Nice detour to theaters of war. So in the latest in kinetic activity, we have we're blasting Yemen all over again, and I'm sure that's wonderful. But yes, shifting to other news. A lot of the bankster currency stuff is wrapped up in the macro econ stuff, so we'll skip that. Pivoting to the domestic side of the house, we'll take a look at U.S. retail XRT. And there is a lot of tariff fragility here. And again, I strongly disagree with the holdings here, but for what it's worth, they have GameStop, Signet Jewelers, Carvana, Victoria's Secret, Dollar General, Ulta. What the hell is this? I forgot. Dollar Tree. What's Buckle? And I don't know what this is. But yeah, it's a weird set of retail. But yeah. We'll take a look at the latest. What else is cooking? Our Treasury Secretary, this Soros boy, has some interesting pro-American rhetoric that I don't find sincere. And again, talk is cheap. So, but we will take a look at what he said, which is still an interesting precedent going forward from a domestic standpoint, at least. I mentioned this on Discord about a couple days ago on SPG, Simon Property Group. Like we're breaking out the old COVID playbook. Let me bring that up again. If you guys remember this, let's see. When was the first edit on this? This was Corona Chan. Let's see. Let me see if I can figure out the timestamp. 2020? Yeah, March 2020. Can you guys remember that? Insane. So yeah, this was my working document. It's how many pages? 55 pages. Here, I'll share this. I don't think you've seen this, Priya. This has so yeah, basically, long story short, the old COVID playbook is coming back online. So and to Dave and Ed's point, I know exactly what to do, right? Short the fuck out of the casinos, right? Short cruise liners, airlines. No one's gonna buy solar, okay? It's just very straightforward. And the reason this was so easy was you see the headings tell you like with the bullish players, it's very few. It's the few, the proud. And then there's the questionable maybes like weird China stocks, and then bears, the known losers. Like it's very easy to see bleeding companies, and it's just easy. Retailers, it's just like here's the hit list, and you can just pull it up all over again and just blast the same targets practically. So yeah, for crashes, we finally have modeled behavior. So again, shout out to Dave and Ed for that. So yes, Simon Property Group is part of the REIT family, and if you guys remember, Gap was defaulting on landlord payments in 2020. So again, SPG that play has reactivated. So yeah. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Ed. Glad modeling is working. And this freaking doc took. I spent like a week writing it in the beginning before I showed it to anybody. There's a lot of research here, especially bearish activity. I have all of the bearish stuff documented, bearish market of this, and I looked at them in tandem. And if you want to look at bearish cycles, I'd recommend comparing 1921 versus 1929. They're effectively the same thing. The reason you don't know about 1921 is there was zero government intervention. So markets healed organically. 1929, oh no, a lot of government intervention, like way too much. And FDR took us, into Hooverville. Yeah. So yeah. Back to domestic news. We'll talk eggs for a second. Cal-Maine just had earnings about a week ago as well. We'll take a look at Delta. We're talking about airlines quite a bit. We'll take a look at not just consumer sentiment weakness with travel dollars, but tariff outflow or tariff issues as well. Combined with the Airbus versus Boeing war and planes falling out of the sky due to DEI and FAA insanity. I just want to remind everyone, the FAA was deliberately hiring for intellectual disabilities. Here's the freaking headline. Again, we were talking about this in depth as it was as this was happening last year. So, I have successfully talked a couple of folks out of plane rides. So, just accidentally. But yeah, at least when you're booking your flights, don't select Boeing aircraft at a minimum, So yeah.
Well, I'm still thinking about Ray Dalio's big debt something book that's free if you know where to click. Big debt crisis, I believe. It talks about the 21 and 29 really, really well. I mean, whole sections, like 15 pages each. And it's free if you go to his site and you figure out how to get to the bottom and find the PDF.
Which book?
I have a copy. I can send it.
Which book?
Big Deck Prices.
Big Debt Crisis. Oh, interesting. Okay.
That's the one that talks about the market's going to crash and all the things you do in a down market.
Okay. Oh, let me drop this in the chat. Priya, you have a question?
Where was that Corona page? Because I tried doing a search in the
Oh,
Google Doc.
oh no, this is a separate document. Here, I'll paste
Oh,
the link. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Separate document. Ancient and wonderful, and I still look at this from time to time. Um, it's still relevant. And again, this is why we started meeting on Thursdays religiously, because 2019, 2020 was really fun. And it was circuit breaker mania left and right. And we're finally back in that mode of trading. It's a wonderful time. I'm very excited. Okay. Okay, back to our notes. Our core notes. Okay. Finishing our highlight reel. Besides Delta, we'll take a look at Disney as well. And again, go woke, go broke, right? So and improvements with anti-malarials. One of the missions for my boy in Hong Kong is to bring back ivermectin because it's cheap as you know as hell in Hong Kong. But yeah, waiting for reports there, and there is some panicking with the recent Hang Seng a collapse of 13% just recently. But yes, pivoting to real estate news, we'll take a look at ITB, the Home Builders ETF, and this has been again in free fall. Mortgages are now 8%, right? And the DC area is catching a lot of strays here, so well deserved. And turns out all those NGO bastards were evil to the core. And if you know of any, you know why they were such insufferable CUNTs. All right. Pivoting to tech news, the fun stuff. And again, shout out to Ross for this ancient screenshot, but still infinitely relevant. And how's the 140 now? And I know you guys missed the beginning, Ross, but again, I love this screenshot, or not screenshot. Let me go to it real quick. Where is it? Again, this image. Retail getting really heavy Q1 2025 and getting spanked in on earnings and then piling in even more. And what's their average cost basis? Well north of 100 and just a disaster zone. And if you guys want to look up like the NVIDIA stock Reddit, it's hilarious. I look at this every morning just to get a sense of the vibe. Like, how did the fish feel? And it's just pain and copium and it's just great. So let me just drop this in the chat. It's awesome. Oh, thank you, Dave, for the book from Ray Dalio.
I'll put it in Discord.
Sweet. Oh, kick ass. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We got homework, guys. Definitely try to read this. And the 2021 section is the highlight, right? Okay, got it. All right, excellent. Let's get back to our notes. So again, yeah, shout out to NVIDIA. All right, let's get back to tech. All right. So yeah, good times and shout out to DeepSeek for helping pop the bubble. And again, back to our earlier convo, since CTAs and whales were selling out in July, again, it seems like Jansen Wong like cursed us all in June of last summer when he signed those boobs. So yeah, June 4th, 2024, the real market top. So yes. The shoe shine boy moment of the post 2020 era. Thanks a lot, dude. All right. So yeah. Meanwhile, Apple is panicking like crazy. So don't call Warren Buffett too smart for long, because one of his biggest holdings is Apple, and they are number one for in terms of tariff vulnerability among the Mag 7. So yeah, and nothing good happens after the 500-day moving average in magenta. And again, even before this rip your face off disaster, we've talked about technology having problems. We'll talk more about this in our index rotation section. But again, XLK has been well below its 500-day moving average, and we've been talking about that since early April and late March. So yeah, big deal here. I mean, it's
Hey
basically.
guys, sorry.
Go ahead,
If you
Abdul.
if you guys have zero DTEs there, just take a look because the market may be picking up. Okay, just take a look there, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yes, it is improving slightly. Yeah. And I don't have anything on because I'm not freaking crazy. At least not today. Okay. So yes, XLK is a subsector of the S&P 500, and it's brilliant that the S&P 500 is warning you in advance of the Nasdaq's fragility and capitulation. So again, index rotation strategies are a must know. All right, pivoting to jobs, we kind of talked about DC and the real estate home sales, so we'll skip this for now at the moment. I didn't look at the other jobs figures for today. But yeah, international news, EU capitulation, which we already know about with the steel situation. But I want to talk a little bit about the democratic situation in Europe. And to protect democracy, they have to make sure to remove candidates from being able to be voted for. Like that's just hilarious to me. And just more signs of weakness from Brussels, right? So yeah, those unelected assholes. Oil and commodity news. Man, crude is just taking a beating back to back. And but we got to pivot to the yellow gold side of the house for a second and talk alternatives and the other side of commodities and alternative investments, which includes, jewelry, fine art, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, we'll take a look at our favorite tax dodge of automatics from Switzerland. So we'll take a look at that, and we should probably look at the what is it? The Bloomberg Subdial Watch Index. This is the top 50 fancy watches of the world collectively tracked. All right. And I don't really know the other brands except, Patek and Rolex. But yeah, here's the Rolex side. The more how do you say, um budget-friendly side of tier one watches, I guess. But yeah, some Reyners galore here. So yeah, we have found a floor price at least of yeah, about about 9,000, 10,000 US. So yeah, tracking on par. Okay, cool. Precious metals, lots of fun stuff. We'll talk about that in just a second. We'll take a look at gold miners and some of my biggest winners last 2 weeks have absolutely been gold miners. So we'll take a look at that. Lots of China stuff, obviously, but yeah, we'll take a look at the Shanghai Composite Index and we'll look at our Panda Tech watch list in depth. And again, we're seeing a bifurcation among Chinese tech and Chinese EV. So we'll look at both in detail. And Mr. Wonderful has some mean words for China. I'm kind of interested. You know, a little out of character for him, but I do like the spine.
Yeah, he comes from investing in companies over there and getting screwed every time.
And it is crazy. I mean, the upper side of his argument was we should forex the tariffs. It's nuts.
Yeah, yes. So yeah, getting F by China. Welcome to the club, right?
Well,
I'm
of
actually
course,
feeling
he's
sorry. I don't think we should be pushing too hard and kill them.
They will do that by themselves very well. They have a spiritual gift for mass famines, it seems.
Yeah, but at
Uh,
some level, I don't want to destroy them. I still want them to build all of our stuff for hell of cheap because we are never going to make most of that stuff.
right, right. And that's why I don't get the Trump and Secretary of Commerce stance. Like it's a good deal. We give them toilet paper, they ship us goods. Like this is a
Right.
good thing. If you want to reclaim US manufacturing, everyone's global lifestyle drops as a result. And like there are pluses to globalization. There are downsides for sure, but yeah.
Yeah, guys, what I'm thinking here is that they might do something radical with Taiwan as a retaliation. For example, I don't know, forbidding commerce between high-tech Taiwan and us, shipping intelligent chips for AI from Taiwan to us, whatever. They could do something radical using Taiwan for that, and that could get ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Taiwan will be the next Ukraine situation, right? You can see it, and Korea as well, and Japan's there trying to figure out whose side to play. And as an Asian person, we all know the truth. Japan hates everyone, just wants to dominate the world too. They also had imperialistic fantasies and hard-ons. The Meiji Restoration wasn't all sunshine and rainbows at all. It was actually a lot of blood and gore, if you kind of know the history. Quite horrific. But yeah, we don't have time for that.
Princes of the End.
Yeah, Princess of the
Yeah.
End. Amazing documentary, great book. Please look it up. Mrs. Watanabe's out there hustling. Yeah, good stuff. Let's look at what Ed provided us. Ethereum. All right, the Ethereum to Bitcoin ratio.
It's a
Uh,
5-year chart. So basically, ETH holders, since you were posting bubbles earlier of NVIDIA, um, not looking great for long term, even long term ETH holders now who got in back in 2020 underwater.
I know, I know. I have a lot of friends and that are deep in Ethereum. I'm like, even I know like that was a sucker play.
Yeah.
Look at that. Uh, so yeah. It-
Does it crash faster? And um does somebody like Coinbase do margin reduction for pairs trade?
what's the beta of Bitcoin versus
Yeah, I mean, typically on your Coinbase account, I mean, I'm not even sure. I guess you can do leverage. I never have, but I mean, there's also Ethereum futures and stuff like that. But
Well, yeah,
yeah, I
well,
don't know that it's necessarily a play for this group, but there's a lot of people I know who've held it for a long period of time who are, again, when you hold something for a long period of time and you don't understand the fundamentals of what it is that you're holding, you're basically like Warren Buffett's idiot, right? I mean, if you were to hold certain essentially zombie companies just because they were cool, that's effectively what holding Ethereum and some of these other shit coins have looked like for
so
folks.
my question was if crypto goes down, does Ethereum go down more or
Yeah,
less than?
yes. It goes
Yes,
it goes
yes.
down more. Here, the correlation, if Bitcoin is 1, this is 1.06.
Yeah.
So
And
you get
that's true with
In
basically
crash
all of the
time,
other cryptos.
one will go more, significantly more, and that's where you would build a pairs trade. Because if all
right,
crypto
right.
drops, then they're all going to drop.
Right.
Yeah.
Pair straight here, yeah.
But when crypto's having really bad days, it's almost safe. It was a lot safer to build a pair trade.
Well, here's the fun part. You get more volatility for no money.
Yeah.
Or far less. Or you could be
Yeah,
in
you just have to
Kodak.
be careful of counterparty risks and stuff like that. I mean, technically, there are other shit coins that are even lower value and higher volatility than ETH that you could go short against, but then just never forget, as many of us in the futures, space, learned back in like 2018 and other times, don't forget your counterparty, right? So don't forget that if you're holding this, like you need to make sure that the bank is actually going to do the deal and that you're not going to get effed on it. So that's just something I would always be very careful about, even if you're going to short some of these shit coins. You have an exposure, you are trusting. I mean, Dave and I know this. You're trusting your counterparty to hold up their end of the deal, and they're not worth shit. Like you're trusting Coinbase, who is down bad against Bitcoin. They would have been better off having zero company and just holding Bitcoin. They have no treasury. They're fucking pathetic. Anyway, little bit of a rant there, but never forget your counterparty risk. Don't get Bernie Madoff, MF, what is it? MF Global, PFG Bast, how many places have gone
Yeah.
down. Don't go down with the ship. Make sure that, if you're shorting something that you can collect because they will collect from you.
Yeah.
And then shout out to the very few or handful of asset classes that are no one's liability. So precious metals definitely fits the bill. And to a certain extent, some of the other softs and whatnot, if you have physical possession. So yeah.
Key point there. There's even more news this week on what was it? I think iBit is further diversifying their holdings out of Coinbase. I'll see if I can find the article at some point. But basically, don't trust, verify, right? And obviously gold holders and silver holders in this group now. I'll see if I can find it later.
Yeah.
I gotta actually jump, but catch you
Okay.
on this
Yeah,
later.
yeah. Thanks, Ed. All right. So yes, thank you, Kevin and Larry, for your rhetoric. Robert Kiyosaki also lost a gold mine. It got nationalized once he hit pay dirt. Like, funny how that works.
So where
uh,
was this?
I'm not familiar. Let me see if we can see. He talks about in a couple of his books. Like he's still bitter. Like I'm sure I would be. I would if you lost the gold mine to the commies, I'd be pissed too.
Either Africa or South America. That's
Uh, uh, oh, here's the story. Here, I'll drop his blog post in the chat. Yeah, cool. Okay. All right, excellent. Take a look at that. Continuing. Okay, that's it. Yeah. So that's our highlight reel. Okay. Questions, comments? All right, let's double check the chat. All right, nothing there. All right, excellent. Speaking of bubbles that have popped, sorry, Wani. Oh, Wani, RIP. Yeah, fucking over Warren has drastic physical consequences. Good luck, sweetheart. All right, moving on. All right, let's go to the fun stuff. I would love to know where you guys think the market will go for the next week with the S&P 500. So vote on your screens now for bullish, sideways, or bearish, while I get our beautiful parse data from the American Association of Individual Investors, which seems to have a DDoS attack or something. Or is my IP bad? I do have my VPN turned on. That might be why.
I
Uh,
was just about to ask if you have a VPN turned on.
yeah. Let me turn it off.
Yeah.
If I disconnect, I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think I should be back. Okay. Okay. Yep. VPN problem. Okay. Excellent. All right. They are blocking static IPs. That is very sophisticated for an American
good
Association
words
of Individual
information.
Investors. Sorry.
And then there's like 300 pages of case studies where he goes through every single interesting thing on one of these crash cycles.
Okay, we'll check that out. Yeah. Um, Meanwhile, in our polling, let's see, 67% sideways, 1/3 bearish. Yeah, I think no one's bullish. All right. I think we are unanimous, obviously. All right, let's take a look at this buy and hold cohort. Uh 28% are bullish as of Tuesday, I guess, ending Tuesday. I don't know what they're smoking, but maybe we should give other people some. 12% in the middle, and there's fewer bears. I don't understand. I think these senior citizens are off their meds, but yeah, I don't know. Looks like I got a question of the week. Oh, whoops. Question of the week. Scroll down. How would you describe the current valuation of stocks? Valuations are mixed, and some stocks expensive, others cheap. So this is the centrist hypothesis. Stocks in general are overvalued. I think most of us would be here.
Yeah.
Stocks in general are undervalued. Do you, like, are you missing a chromosome? Like, what's happening over here? Stocks in general are fairly valued. Maybe you're missing two chromosomes here. So yeah, I don't know. So yes, genius has limits, stupidity does not. So
Depends on which stocks.
Yeah.
Well, no, if you're doing value stocks, that's one thing. If you're doing tech stocks, it's another answer.
Yeah, I'm sure they're rocking that blue chip Kodak play, still.
Yeah, but if you think about the S&P, for example, S&P is what? At 17 now? I can't remember now. But even the S&P might still overvalued, right?
S17, what is that? Can you clarify? Is
So
it a
S&P is a very large percentage market cap um, on the big giant stocks that are moving really fast. It,
Yeah,
it
but
it's market cap oriented. You can see it on a map.
right, right, right.
yeah, all right.
Okay, looking at the top losers of the week. Let me grab this screenshot. Oh yeah, I pasted the dad one into Discord. That's fun. That's fun. Um, yeah. So yeah, okay, let's go back. So this one's easy. This kid playing with SPY, I think puts, lost his shirt, obviously when it's rocks up 12%, and he took money out on margin and lost his dad's money, like five figures, which is like stealing five figures. So yeah, incredible. Um, let's just look at the rank two and rank three, and we'll call it a day. All right. Okay, let me zoom in a little here. All right. Um, life is yours, live it. That sounds like a very like YOLO-esque um, handle here. So a business owner, inspiring biohacker, supercar enthusiast. So this is basically Warren without morals. Because Warren does all of these things, but does it in a very particular way. Okay. All right, let's look what he did. Okay, 1019, 60 contracts, Tesla at a 240 put. Oh Lord. 1047, 32 contracts. Got bought for 279. Tesla rocketed 10 fucking dollars right after. Couldn't take it anymore. Sold all 32 contracts for an average of $54. Negative 7,228 minutes. Tesla has beaten me down in the equity in my Model 3 performance in the stock market and now in the form of options. Wow, the triple trifecta. Plus, there's upcoming vandalism that he's accruing points for right now as we speak. Oh my God. And I go to one of the very yuppie rock climbing gyms in the Bay Area, and it's Teslas galore. And I noticed a lot of them are on Sentry mode, comparing last year versus this year. So people are scared. And again, these are Asians for the most part, right? These Maoists in America, they're the most risk adverse, anxiety ridden Asians that's ever existed. Like they all bow down to medical tyranny in the 2020s and all that stuff, and cowards galore. But yeah, so yeah, good times. So yeah, Tesla. Let's see if this person held on. Would have been okay. Let me see. Let's just imagine if they had bought 1 week out and it was expiring tomorrow. Like he just paid a little bit extra for that extra guacamole. Oh, he would have maybe lost. Maybe if he'd be close, right? $7 away from his strikes at 245. He'd be close. He'd be praying hard. Oh, 235, maybe not. 260, yeah. Okay. So yeah, he was 1 week too early. Yeah, good job, kid. And let's see what his posts are. I'm just curious. Uh, these productivity losers. It's very low end biohacking. And you guys, and I've talked about it before. I know Spot has seen my stuff, like on the sleep stuff. Like I know my sleep science down pat. So yeah, like that's how to correctly do biohacking. But yeah. Okay, loser number three for the week. Holy shit. Is that total account implosion except one penny? What's the APY on 1 penny at Robinhood Gold? 3%, 4%? Oh, holy cow. Market is healing. NDX is down only 3.69%. Okay. Let's see what this kid did. It's not over till the balance hits zero. Oh my God. What did he do? He won't even say. Let's see if we can see his other posts. Game over. Yeah, game over, homie. What did he do? Shrooms. Oh, that's great. Psychedelics and gambling. That's gonna work. Oh, and cannabis in Maine. Oh, wonderful. Okay, this guy's all screwed up. Uh, yeah, all right. Weed, shrooms. He's a roughneck. Okay, okay, whatever, dude. You are toast. And you're struggling with your porn addiction. All right, dude, game over, man. Game over. Just quit now. All right, idiots of the week. Hope you feel better about your portfolio now that you've seen some other losers melt their dad's money down. All right, let's go to the index overview and go to our big four indexes. All right, so we look at all the big four and we look at it from smart money, from futures to the big boy option contracts to the retail side, since retail is in theory the dumb money, usually. All right, let me adjust the screen a little bit here. And let's get our put call option, sorry, PCR data out. Okay. All right, cool. All right. All right. Let's look at ES here. So again, future side, the S&P 500. Put call ratio 1.522. So yes, on green days, the smart money likes to pick up hedges and they cash them in on red days. But since we're off our normal schedule, we can't look at it in that framework. So to be safe, we will go to SPX. But for some reason, my swab is crashing, and maybe we just, stupid Java problems. Let me just restart this. All right. Give me 1 second. My apologies. Let's restart swab. And oh, thank you to Spot for the whatchamacallit, the Zell article. I did not know Zell had so many problems. That makes a lot more sense now because I've seen the PMs for sale. There's been some blowups here with sale that I've noticed. So now we know why. But yes, in case you want a additional secondary market for gold and silver, this is not bad, but it's extremely complicated. Reach out to me before you sell to internet strangers on Reddit or buy. It's a little bit different. There's an eBay-like rating system that's adjacent to this that is not obvious at first glance. Okay. Oh, back to our indexes. All right. Let's load that window. Okay, perfect. All right, futures. Taking a look. Let me resize this. Sorry, it's a little bit too jumbled up here. Okay, there we go. All right, all right, all right, all right. Come on. Okay. All right, futures. Here we go. Put call ratio today, 1.5. That fair value is 1.3. Bearish deltas from 0 to 20 is very normal at 69%. If this was north of 90, it'd be a falling knife, but obviously no falling knife at the moment. Going to big boy option contracts, the 1256 side, looking at SPX. Let's see. Come on. All right, 1.439. And again, this is our core operating PCR for all of the indexes, really. And again, in Don Kaufman's words, this is the mother of all trading products, right? So fair value 1.3, 1.4, that's very normal. 0 to 20 delta is very sleepy at 59%. So absolutely no falling knife. Today. Okay. Let's go to the retail side of the house with SPY 1.44. What fair value again is about 1.3. So retail's a little spooked as they should be, but they are pretty optimistic. 49% for the 0 to 20 delta. So hope springs eternally for the retail side of the house. And you can't talk retail without mentioning the NASDAQ. So we're gonna, yeah, let's just take a look at the future side actually. What is the NQ at? Again, for the NASDAQ futures, I'm still learning the baseline since I've only been doing 0DT about half a year, I think, overall. Okay. 1.39, I think that's normal-ish. Bearish deltas don't look aggressive. Let's go to NDX. The big boy, 1256 contracts, my favorite pony of the 0DTE stable, 0.983. So very bullish. Is this warranted? I guess this is in anticipation of more positive tariff news. That's kind of what I'm reading. And again, bearish deltas are asleep. Let's go to the Qs. This should be really green. I mean, really low on a PCR. No, it's not. 1.142. Holy shit. That's odd that retail has a little bit more restraint than the 1256 crowd of the NASDAQ. Interesting. A little bit of a divergence. We'll just note that in the back of our mind. Let's go to the more saner side of the house, the Russell 2000. Um, and again, I like these guys more because I mean, I guess I'm a small business guy, from restaurants and flea markets and swap meets. So yeah, small business is near and dear to my heart. And put call ratio is 1.567. Fair value for the IWM is 2.3. So if this is a 2.0 baseline, that's bullish, relatively speaking. And again, I'm still learning these numbers just like you guys. Let's look at RUT. 1.143. And again, fair value is again north of 2-ish. So, and then sleepy deltas 0 to 20 is nothing. It's at 28%. That is serious bullishness from this crowd. And this crowd is usually bipolar practically with the 2.3 number here. Let's see what they're today. 2.163. All right, this side of the house is a little bit, it's normal and kind of bullish. It's odd. I don't think it's warranted, but okay, well, that's that. Let's go to the Dow Jones side of the house. And here's the YM contracts, the future side. Razor thin, like hell, no liquidity today. How about that? All right, let's just skip this. There's no 1256 equivalent. You just have to go to the diamonds. And let's take a look at this. And again, shout out to Bubba Horowitz for his index rotation strategies. And we noticed this Monday, Tuesday, and I guess even today, the Dow Jones is the strongest of the four indexes. Like right now, as we speak, the Dow's only down 3.2, SPX down 4.1, RUT down 4.5, NDX down almost 5%. So hey, Diamond Hands really lives in a Diamond ETF, and fair value for the put call ratio is 1.0. Today is about 0.8, so a little bit bullish. And sleepy deltas are very sleepy for the bearish side. And so yeah, people are buying the dip. I think it's unwarranted, but maybe someone knows something. And if Commander-in-Chief is now happy to pump and dump the freaking equities market, beyond just crypto and shitcoins, I think that is a rough precedent for all of us. And if you don't have Truth Social on your AM checklist, you should add it in. In fact, I'm gonna forget, and let me just write this in myself. Add checklist item. Donald Trump, Truth Social. All right, there you go. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's the indexes for you. Good lay of the land, and very critical if you're doing 0DTE, of course, to know all of that. And then again, let's take a look at the VIX really quick. And again, the VIX is not a true fear index. It is the inverse volatility of SPX. So that's what you're really seeing. But yeah, it's still elevated. Um, and every Tuesday, VIX expires. So I was trying to hustle it on Tuesday and did that. I think I was close. It ended at 51 or 52 for the day. But yeah, but yeah, this could be a zero DTE decay strategy for Tuesdays. And yeah, it's every Tuesday. And I've been doing that here and there, but not consistently. But I will be doing that going forward because VIX is very juicy again. So yeah, good times. All right, cool. So that's your index overview. Questions, comments? All right, now let's get a little bit more surgical and look at fear and greed with market breadth analytics. All right, for CNN, the aggregate score today is 7. A week ago, sorry, yesterday was 16. A week ago was 6. A month ago was 17. A year ago was 49. And looking at the 125-day S&P 500 moving average, we are well below that. And that's a beautiful dead cat bounce strategy. Sorry, pattern right here. And now looking to the Heisenberg Omen, we're looking at the extremes of 52-week highs versus 52-week lows and looking at the delta remaining. And we are definitely skewed on the very bearish side. So the limited Mag 7 gains are holding up the entire, high heavens here. And the sky is falling. And then looking at a more median-esque value of the McKellen stock breadth index of the overall number of shares rising versus falling. And that is at a also relative extreme. So remember, dead cat bounce continues a downward trend, right? Technical analysis 101, right? Lower lows, lower highs is a bearish trend. These other indicators, I think, is pretty whack, so we'll skip it. But yeah. And again, single stock fragility. So if you're trying to short something, you want single stock fragility. If you're trying to, ride something bullish, you want it kind of diversified, like with an ETF. And that's why this again lends or goes back to the old proverb. Uh, Bulls go up the stairs and bears go out the window. And you look at the Corona stuff and you're like, why does Warren obsess over the bearish stuff? Because it's fast and it moves like a mofo when it does move. And, it's fun. So, yeah. But again, you need a certain temperament and workflow to be that contrarian that consistently. All right, cool. Let's take a look at more historical data with Jeffrey Hirsch's Stock Traders Almanac, and it's 11/18. I got to speed up a little bit. April is still the best Dow month since 1950. April 99 is the first Dow month ever to gain 1,000 Dow points, blah, blah, blah. Up 16 straight years. April 2020, Dow up 11%. It exhibits strength after tax deadline in recent years. Stocks anticipate great first quarter earnings by rising sharply before earnings are reported rather than after. Rarely a dangerous month. Recent exceptions are 02, 04, 05, and 22. Best 6 months of the year ends with April. Presidential election year April since 1950 are about 1% across the board. And end of April, NASDAQ strength fading. And again, pounding the table on NASDAQ. And again, NASDAQ is really about NVIDIA. And since NVIDIA's been added to every index, this NVIDIA invasive species status is infecting everything. So, and we have natural seasonality fading for the NASDAQ. So again, that sell in May mantra popping up. So if this week didn't warn you about that, then I don't know what to tell you. And again, that's why NDX being a little bit bullish is a little bit against the data as it seems. All right, looking at May-June disaster area between 65 and 84 is down 15 out of 20 Mays. 85 to 97 was the best month of 13 straight gains. But also, worst 6 months of the year begins with May. Blah, blah, blah. Dow Memorial Weekend up 12 years in a row, down 16 of the last 28. And since 1950, presidential election year, May's ranked number 9 across the board overall. Okay, cool. All right, and again, here's our overall SPX seasonality. And again, here, thank you to Ross for the post-election clarification here. And again, we're waiting for that April 15th boost. And with tariff fears and the bond vigilantes in the wings, who knows what will happen? But don't go long the Nasdaq, whatever you do. Do not do that. All right. And again, XLK, right? We've been talking about that. Yeah, we're ahead of the curve. All right, let's go to stock charts. A beautiful rotation sector rotation tool here. And again, this is looking at valuation, not from a price standpoint, but from a overvaluation versus undervaluation perspective. And shout out to Michael Maloney, who talks about this to death in on his YouTube channel, goldsilver.com. He looks at it from multiple asset classes. Let me pull it up. Yeah, wealth cycles. It's a really good concept. He looks at, very basic, look at the Dow Jones versus the median price of real estate versus commodities. And since he's a gold guy, obviously he's very focused on metals. But yeah, let me paste this in the chat. It's a great video. Check it out. And again, yeah.
So your RRG, you're going to get a lot more if you look at 3 or 4 months
Oh,
than
okay.
a whole year. Just, if anybody goes in and plays with it.
Okay, let's go to that. You mean the range or wait, one second.
Yeah, range. If
Uh,
if you went back to daily
oh yeah, daily for actual movement. Yeah, yeah.
and maybe not a whole year. I don't know what the whole day.
Oh, 3 months. Here we go.
Yeah.
There we go. A little more surgical. Okay, got it.
So hit play just so.
Okay, yeah. So you'll see it fluctuate. I mean, expensive versus cheap, expensive versus cheap, and you can see the lay of the land. So this is
Yeah,
the
so that's the Trump trade.
Right. This is the 11 subsectors of the S&P. So yeah, the Trump trade here. They're all sucking. Oil's been beaten like a poor seal repeatedly. Nvidia's being shot in the face. Real estate is, suicidal. It's great. Healthcare, no one's whose opening enrollment is enrolling right now, right? So yeah, all eyes on banks. Earnings coming out. Let's see what's up.
So
Uh,
the emphasis here is you're looking at like XLE is only minus 11%, but that's versus the SPY.
Correct. This is yeah. You can change the
Yeah,
benchmark.
so if
So
you were on oil companies, you got your ass kicked.
yeah. All right. Let's all right, let me grab the screenshot for our notes. Here's our daily one. Yeah. Any favorite tickers? If not, I'll grab our favorites. Gary's not here, right? Or Canadian. Priya, any favorite tickers you have? We'll throw it on here.
Tech One, CRM, NVIDIA. So we pretty much already went over those.
Do I have NVIDIA CRM in here? I do not. Here, we'll add CRM. Okay. C. Okay. All right. Let's do yeah, daily candles. Let's do 6 months or 1 year here. Zoom out a little bit. Okay, so here we'll see your favorite different tickers float around. And since we'll fast forward. All right, let's highlight CRM. Where is it?
You put it at the end.
Yeah, I want to just highlight this row. Okay, so here it is relative to everything. Maybe let's do 6 months. CRM. Sorry. CRM. Where are you? Okay, highlight. Okay. So CRM's been kind of in the lagging, improving quadrant. Does this feel about right to you? Spinning circles.
Yeah,
Uh,
they hyped up a storm at Dreamforce last year
mm,
unnaturally, So it just felt wrong, and it's been having trouble, especially with their AI product. They are still leading against all of their rivals. So Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle Siebel, anything else that's competing against CRM in that space, because CRM has been capitalizing on AI since 2017. So they're a bit ahead of the crowd of all the rest of those companies as far as AI and CRM. So they're doing better, but all of them are all going down.
Well,
And,
so
and
the interesting part is relative to SB 500. So can you hit play so we can see CRM move around? I don't know where you hit play at. There you go. Yeah, so those verticals are what you're really looking at. And it's not, well, there it goes.
so this is
Yeah.
this is a 5 week tail. You can extend it to make it more obvious. But yeah. This is just a cool tool for all of that.
Can you
So
Hey,
make it do 6 months just to see what CRM's been doing? Like, I hope it doesn't go slower, but
It's at 6 months.
yeah, it is at
it's
six
at
months.
6 months. That was 6 months. Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, let me grab the screenshot and we'll sort by table and the overall graph. And yeah, you guys can play with this.
And I do have to say, as I'm a Salesforce consultant, that's my number one ticker that I tend to go to. Um, and I personally have seen the business go down, down, just straight down since November. Um,
Oh, I know all about Salesforce and Dreamforce here. I almost got arrested multiple times. Like like remember so I used to work at Zoho. And then this was my
ah,
so this was my team, and we would go to in front of Dreamforce and do shit like this. Uh,
yeah, yeah, I remember the Zoho crew.
right. So Benioff did this exact type of stuff against Siebel back in the day when he was spinning up Salesforce. So it's literally, you
So, but
know,
the difference here, remember that Benioff previously worked at Oracle. He was one of the VPs at Oracle.
and
So
he
his
stole the
initial,
enterprise sales team with him. Yeah.
exactly, his initial beginnings was all in Oracle. And when he left, he took a large chunk of Oracle people with him to create Salesforce. And he had Oracle's blessing on
And
top of that.
the book of business, and
Yes,
he walked out with the database in his hand, or the
yes,
CRM of
yes,
the day.
yes, he did. Yep.
So yeah, it's the golden parachute club if you're not sure what's happening. All right, very cool to see a fellow CRM compatriots. I can already imagine your grief with Salesforce's app ecosystem and all the mapping, and oh my God, I'm
Oh,
so
I'm done. I've already decided I'm changing my career. I'm gonna be an AI prompt engineer because other countries, Germany, Japan, Australia, so other countries are currently hiring AI prompt engineers like crazy. That's not much of a change from what I currently do. So I'm currently taking an online Harvard course where I'll have a professional certificate in Python, and then immediately after this, I'll turn around and take their AI course. It's in CS50. Yeah, that's it. And so that's not the one I'm taking right now. I'm taking the Python one first because it's good to have the fundamentals
right,
of
right,
anything.
yeah.
So I'm taking the Python one first, and then I'm turning around and taking the AI intelligence with Python after.
Mhm.
And on top of that, I found a coupon online because I just like going cheap.
Very cool.
But this is
Uh,
given by Harvard, so you get a nice certificate that gets posted on your LinkedIn, or at least that's what they advertise.
And then where do you find the prompt engineering jobs?
So there's, hold on, I have so many screens open because I have my class screens plus the coding screens plus these screens. Um, can I circle around with you after?
Oh
Because
yeah, no, I'm just
I
curious.
have
Yeah, no
too
worries.
many screens. No, I
Yeah,
have it, but I have too many screens open.
all good for you. But yeah, you would love to talk to Dave and Spot later. They do a lot of Grok 3 stuff. So yeah, and we found just interesting tidbits from axing, perplexity, just interesting questions and finding out, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. So yes, we do like your field of study. All right. Meanwhile, pivoting to the counterparty risk, here's Wall Street bets. So let's see what the kiddies are focused on today. What's hot, what's not? All right, let's see. CPI, Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, gold, Donald Trump, the Qs. What's MAGA? Oh, MAGA. Okay. Coal, oil, CB, Google, Amazon, TLT, AMD, Baba, Walmart, SQQQ, T-Mobile, TQQQ. What's J? Wendy's, GME, Spotify? Oh, Coca-Cola? Okay. Looks like obviously people are bearish on Tesla. That's a no-brainer. Okay, good stuff. People are bearish on Alibaba. That's good. The Qs, yeah, don't go long the Nasdaq. Yeah. People are bullish on DJT. Oh God, that's a mother of all pump and dumps yesterday. And here's GLD. Okay, good stuff. But yeah, GLD rank 5. Where's silver? Nowhere to be seen. Oh my God. Still in Gamblers Anonymous meetings. Okay. That's our high level overview of that. Any questions? If not, we'll go to our actual core current news cycle. And I gotta finish soonish so I can get back to trading myself. All right. Let's see. Let's fast forward to today's fun stuff. And again, I left all the past key screenshots for your review. And again, I'd really encourage you guys to check out this Don Kaufman video. It's 11 minutes, a really good synopsis of the lay of the land as of yesterday. All right, let's go to shit's breaking again. Oh, they made this premium. Okay, must be hot. All right, let's see. Let me drop this link. All right.
I'm slowly posting them in the chat.
Oh, oh, cool, sweet. Thank you. Oh, very cool. Awesome. Thank you, Priya. All right. Let's get back to our tariff situation. And oh, another Trading Places reference. I love it. The Dukes, Mortimer, all that good stuff. Um, all right. So yes, crazy stuff happening. Let's take a look. So again, here is the snapshot. We have retraced more than half of the gains already. Okay. And then here is the US dollar. Oh, we have a better I don't use the Bloomberg dollar spot designations. I don't understand their access. But yeah, gold prices were exploding. So yeah, true safe haven, or the classic safe haven. Maybe not true. Let's say classic. Um, here's gold's biggest two gains since COVID lockdown lows, and also currencies. What the yen and the Swiss franc also appreciated against the U.S. dollar. What else? Here's crypto. What is this? High yielding credit spreads. This is bullish. And then here's treasury yields getting blown out. Here's the 30 year. Holy cow. Um, just crazy numbers. And then yes, we'll talk at the basis trade that is unwinding. So let's jump to that. That's our next article. And again, to recap the tariff game plan, we're looking at tariff resilient tickers. So there was car repair like AZO, O'Reilly. We're looking at car rentals that would catch a lot of heat. So like Carvana, without an ability to replenish inventory. And in case you didn't understand the retail game, uh, inventory turnover drives your profitability when you're moving units en masse and you're practically wholesaling, which is what Carvana does at a retail kind of pace. They're really a wholesaler, but yeah, if you can't replenish your stock, like you have no hope to make money. So yeah, very terrifying here, but yeah. Tesla has issues, as we mentioned. We're considering looking at car fleets and FedEx and UPS. Of course, FedEx is a great barometer for business cycles in general. And with this new earnings cycle upon us, this should be pretty useful and obviously not great. And again, what is the mantra of today's move or today's meeting? Or one of them is nothing good happens under the 500-day moving average, and that's the magenta line here. So let's go to UPS. Same situation as well. Nothing good happens, under either moving average, and earnings is right in front of us. And again, UPS and FedEx have created a monster, right? Look at all of the Amazon delivery trucks powered by Rivian. You know, you created this monster that's eating your lunch now. Who do you have any like who else are you gonna blame? But yeah. All right, let's look at the basis trade. Dumb, aggressive hedge companies. All right. Oh, whoops. All right, cool. All right. So, again, I am definitely not the right guy to talk about this. Maybe Dave, can you maybe summarize what a basis trade is for us really quickly?
No, I can't.
No, okay. So, in essence, you sell the future for the IOU, but you buy the bond as your hedge, and then you bank the difference, and then you leverage this to the hilt, and that's the trade. And your only risk is if rates change, then you're fucked. So bond vigilantes are pissed at America for obvious reasons, and fiscally we're toast, right? So they're not thrilled. They're expecting, earnest dollars, and we're giving them, less than earnest dollars in return. So that's not good. And yeah, so the leverage
Don't
is
invest in America.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, investing in America. If you guys remember the global financial crisis, Warren Buffett was going on TV in '06 and '07 and saying, "Hey, buy a piece of America, buy the SPY." And he's unloading under everyone. And he's watching Wachovia implode in front of him. And again, if you don't understand the trigger with Washington Mutual and Wachovia, it was drug money that was being penalized for high cash balances. And everyone's had this problem. HSBC recently, lots of banks like to launder money. And you want to end the drug war, you take the banksters out and you shoot them in the face. I promise you, drug war ends immediately, okay? But until someone has the gumption to do that, you'll see more of those type of shenanigans. But yeah,
So I have a vocabulary word,
yes, sir.
rehypothecation. That's
Yes.
that's where you use one asset as the
Rehypothecation.
the the collateral. For
China does this a lot with
yeah.
the
And
local and
also
municipal bank.
City of London has basically infinite rehypothecation. And
Right, right.
they add
So,
um, they add the banking thing. I'm blanking out on words. The
uh,
fractional
uh,
bank reserves.
right. So you're thinking of like the Big Short, Moody's, and the other rating agencies. The stuff they rubber stamp as AAA or whatever. That is part of the I guess formality side of the rehypothecation. But it's really, labeling cat shit as grade A dog shit and selling it
Well,
for.
yeah, but also that you can do the fractional reserve banking based on your deposits, but then you're also using things as collateral against other things. It's it creates these giant leverage situations, and that's where we end up with these market blows out
Right. So that's
because
why the
somebody's
overnight
bond isn't being bought by anybody.
Right, and that's why they were unloading in the aftermarket when it was illiquid. It wasn't because they wanted to, it was because they had to, because they
Right.
needed to have collateral. They got margin called themselves. So these hedge funds are getting knocked out left and right. So the ultimate question is, will we bail out the hedge funds? And
The
God, I
answer
hope
should
not.
be
I hope
no.
not. I hope
It
not.
should be no. So,
Should be no.
and this is where the giant ones are basically when people were doing a carry trade against the Russian stuff. And I mean, all of this sort of maps into this standard. The guys who are building carry trade, the very low margin type stuff, are the ones who get their asses kicked. And it all comes down to you can't get the exit trade. All of your counterparty disappeared.
Right. So then we're going to do the weird thing where profits were already privatized, but the consequences are socialized to the taxpayer,
Yeah,
right?
that's not
Oh,
right.
yeah. All
The
right.
CEOs of these people should all be crushed. I mean, they should never be able to get a job again. It's just you destroyed so much value of the world. We will revenge you for the rest of your life.
Dave is very, very polite. Warren is a little bit more crude.
Well, the public's gonna go for my revenge and not for the chopping people's heads off. The mob
We'll
will
Um,
go for the
avenge
chopping
you.
people's heads off.
Bring out the Avengers.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, but I believe in the French. What can I say?
yeah, but that's the mob,
All right.
or you could call them the Democrats.
Uh,
They'll try and chop Trumpsters' heads off.
but don't forget, what is it? The committee or the ruling body during the Reign of Terror, they all got killed too. Like they all got Trotsky'd, all right, if you catch the reference. But yeah,
Right?
be careful in revolutions.
So the EU is sort of like that.
Yeah.
I mean, all the people I call vampires who are basically deleting democracy. If you're opposing us, we will delete your votes.
The EU is nothing but that.
Yeah.
I mean, they killed all the real guys in World War One and World War Two. Like, and they let all the cowards reproduce. What did you think was going to happen to all of those aristocratic bloodlines that have been breeding for 2,000 years?
Well, the worst is they all wanted us to sign up to be controlled by them. I mean, this WF is all about communism run by the idiots in Europe and basically colonialize everybody.
Because they know best.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
All right. All right. Got some fun images here. I pasted into the Discord, but we're very Vic-centric. And again, uh, I apologize for, we all missed the obvious VIX trade. Maybe some of us, are quietly counting, their tens of millions now. But
One,
yeah,
one of us had it.
I think I know who it is, but out of respect, I will not say much. But
Well, no, he bid right, so I'm going to go ahead and point it out. You just
yeah.
keep on going. Alfalfa.
Yeah, all good. But yeah, I did want to point out one interesting thing here.
What
S&P,
what 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 is? Sorry, I heard my name. What's the story?
Oh, you were the only person who brought up let's do a VIX trade, or what do you think of VIX trade? That was a great move. We all were
Oh,
stupid.
yeah, yeah. No, oh, good. Okay.
hey, there's no lying in therapy, okay? Okay, awesome.
Sometimes the guy that doesn't know nothing, he may have an idea every now and then.
I was
Absolutely,
surprised
absolutely.
you talked about it. I didn't answer.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. A quick call out here. I just want to point out. If you notice here, S&P 500 after VIX closes above 45 for 3 straight days, and we're in that territory. Just look at the average: 3%, 2%, 6%, 5%, 3%, 3%, 2%. That's down. And again, think about the NASDAQ. All right. Don't go long the NASDAQ. And if you go short the NASDAQ, I think you'll be okay, relatively speaking. I mean, obviously not yesterday, right? Had a full NDX wing explode in my face. Was not good, okay? Max loss. Not good. Not good. But we will rebuild. All right, good stuff. But yeah, we missed the elephant trade. My apologies. Just too much happening. Okay, Cola didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. No one was paying attention. Okay, only Adolfo brought it up in Discord. All right, good stuff.
It was far enough. It was long enough ago that it was a great trade.
It
It
was,
was
it was.
a
And
gigantic
then
trade.
and then would you milk the reversion? It's like, not really.
I would milk the reversion. Don't think it's impossible.
I'll give you a little bit of time, but
It's dangerous, but
VIX could
I'm
go
doing it.
VIX could go to 80 like in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah, and I'm short front month.
One post from the Teflon Don and we could be there, right? You
Yeah, yeah.
know,
I could be $50,000 in the hole 5 minutes from now.
yeah. Juan is already
Ugh,
waiting for you there.
the fear.
Yes, the fear index, wonderful. But yes, shout out to China. We can jump ahead a little bit, fast forward. Let's go to our China watch list. Oh my God. Let's take a look at the
Wow,
weeklies really
that's so
weekly quick.
red.
It's like glowing. It's not Christmas tree, it's a bloodbath. Um, and Nvidia's 108. Like, yay, we're not 80. Remember, it opened at 86, guys. $86. These are mofos that piled in the 120s and 130s zone. They need it to go up. If it doesn't go up, they're margin called. All right. So
So
yeah.
the greens are all really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll take a look at this
you know,
right
what
now.
didn't get crushed? That's a really interesting trade.
Yeah, we're gonna pull it up right now. We're gonna jump to it right here. Panda Tech, right here, China. So yes, very divergent stuff here. So again, EVs, e-commerce, social media, a little bit across the board. So Pinduoduo is the Beijing affiliated e-commerce play, not doing well because the shipping, the low-end shipping subsidization is going away. So that wipes out all of that.
Right, and
Um,
they only have so much inventory in the United States.
it's just in time inventory
Yeah, yeah.
on a razor thin stockpile. So yeah, just give this a second. I think this will revert quite a bit. But yeah, Li Auto, this is one of my favorite Chinese shorts of the last 2 years, and I'm just grateful that they're building a higher scaffold so I can chop them down yet again. So yeah.
So the green would be they had a max risk fear, and then we came back from max risk fear because Trump gave them a little delay on the tariffs, or gave the world delay on tariffs.
Right. But for still risk, Pinduoduo is, I think,
Yeah,
the
that's Sean.
safer, right? And then the problem with this is this shocks the whole value chain and supply chain and labor pool, right? So
Yeah.
with tariffs jumping up and down 3 digits every other day, if you're a business owner, what are you going to do? Are you going to expand? No, you're going to close up shop and pivot to any other business except this business, all right? This trade is dead. All right, China is no longer the world's factory. It wasn't even 5 years ago. It was already changing. All right, so this is just the canary's been dead in a coal mine for nearly a decade already. So yeah,
So that's an actual. So the margins are really thin. The little girls who buy tops for $6 and are that's sort of getting crushed by these giant tariffs.
oh yeah, yeah. And it was always again, it was a volume play. Like that's
Right.
why like dumping comes out of, trade dumping is a common problem with China, especially with the state subsidized stuff, right? And right, they're an authoritarian. It's like, we'll make more money if we just pump the supply. If we build it, they'll buy it. Like, sure, but not anymore, right? So yeah.
But if you pay $1 extra, I mean that for the shipping side, so they're getting double whammy. The shipping side of these low dollar packages plus the tariffs, they're going to be hurt.
Right. And so they have the April 2020 fuel situation. Like storage becomes a premium and oil goes negative, right? So in a way, you can imagine all of that cheap inventory has negative value now. It's
Right.
toxic inventory.
Right.
And these business owners are leveraged to the hilt with peer-to-peer loan lending, their mortgage to the hilt. Like you have to think about it. Like Shanghai had 3 years of lockdowns. You know, like you've already wired, you've already barely survived the lockdowns, and then this just takes you out, and you're already a walking zombie, and then a 50 BMG to the forehead, splatters your head across, a mile, across the field. But yeah. Okay, anyway, ETF rebalancing. This is a little complicated, and I think this is above my pay grade, but we'll try to interpret this as best as we can. So yes, leverage ETF products have been rebalancing, and I'm trying to figure out which direction. I don't really understand this. We gotta call out the smarter guys. Like, have you guys seen analytics like this? Maybe you know historically where we are. I don't know anything. Larry, any thoughts, comments? You're like the OG here. Leverage ETF rebalancing? Any thoughts, ideas? Kurt? Anything? Flav? Dave? Ross?
No, I found I found a site called risk.com. It's for
Do you have the link, sir?
I think it's called risk.com.
Oh, risk.com.
Yeah.
Um, no, Hasbro has bought
Okay,
that domain.
I'll find it.
Okay. Um, but yes, let's see. One day money is going into tech, not going, I can't tell. Um, so yeah, and since it's a premium article, I can't get to the comments because this you can't see it on this side. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's something here, but I guess
Are there any dates anywhere on this page? Wait, at the top right?
yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the date. It's
oh,
risk.net
Okay.
and it's for CTAs.
Oh, thank
And this,
God.
it's kind of cool.
CTA news finally. Whales.com. All right. Moby Dick news. All right. Excellent. Uh, are we Starbucks in this Moby Dick story? I guess we are. Okay, very cool. Thank you, sir. Let's bookmark that. That'll be good. All right, whale data, very good. Okay, thank you, sir. Back to notes. Okay, we don't have time to unpack this. That's okay. Good to know there's room to grow. But yes, we're just gonna skip Black Swans. I mean, the orange swan already happened, I guess. Holy cow. Out of left field. No, but I mean, in a sense, I was expecting a dead cat bounce. I was expecting it today, not yesterday. But yeah. Warren, you suck. Okay. Dude, improve.
Well, no, it was Trump.
It is
Trump,
Trump.
Trump put out that message. It's
Yes, I miss it at
yeah,
6:34.
there's no way to predict those.
6:34. I wasn't watching, but yes. Who had 6 a.m., pump and dumps in the equity markets by Donald Trump? Like shitcoins, yes, we know that, but yeah.
I also have something off Twitter where somebody bought this giant position of options. There's a bunch of people saying, "Oh, they stole. It's insider trading." So I'll find the twit.
Okay. Also, quick call out, dollar strength. Holy shit, guys. 100 WTF. Gold's is no wonder gold is still so strong.
DXY.
This is crazy, guys. Wow, a weak dollar. We've lost all of our post-election gains. This is the worst inaugural stock market beginning in history.
Yeah. Hey, Warren, can I stop a little bit?
Yes, sir.
You guys were talking about the tweets, etc. But I think the most important lesson for me on this whole thing is that I doubted myself. because during the weekend I knew that these guys were meeting in Mar-a-Lago. They were discussing an alternative. He was getting a lot of pressure, etc. And then they vented, I think, the first time the 90-day pause on Monday morning, if I remember correctly. I can't remember now. But, and then they quickly ran to say, no, that's fake news, blah blah blah. And but then one of his officers did not deny that categorically. So he said, oh, he's gonna decide what he's gonna decide. So that was not a full denial. So by Monday I think we knew that there was smoke, and sometime during the week, if things continue to fall apart, the fire would show up. So I was kind of 80% confident on the 90-day pause, but I doubted myself and I didn't play on it. But anyway, that's but
Uh,
I think for me the next time is this: when there is a big rumor coming out there, especially when we know that they are meeting for a day or whatever in Mar-a-Lago, I think we should pay more attention to the rumor.
I mean, Mr. Bibi from Israel was visiting. That's a red flag. If he has to fly over to collect money, we have a problem. Prepare for fireworks.
Right, and remember that he had to cancel a whole in that afternoon. He had to cancel
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
a,
He
a,
rushed
a, me-
over. Yeah,
a meeting with the media because something
yeah.
else urgent showed up. So that was the first signs that something was coming.
Correct. And then for once, Trump stood up to Israel, which is out of character. Like, we give you billions of dollars and just stare him down. It's like, these are all true points.
That might have been that might have been a strategy. If you think about it, he's getting a lot of heat for supporting Israel. I mean, it's a good move if you were trying to be, strategic about your what am I
Exactly.
doing this
That's
week.
agreed. That's what I thought too. Is more kind of try to show more of a neutral position overall. I agree with that. Yes.
Fair point, fair point. But at the end of the day, since we know who his real Dark Masters are, it's like this is just kabuki theater. Like just you don't have to slow play us, Trump. Just do it. We know they own you. Come on. And on Adolfo's earlier point, um, it was so green before tariffs. Like on the second, like I was thinking about on this day, it's in my notes even. Like I was gonna short the VIX, and I was like, the market was so green. I thought the better of it, and then I was late. But yeah. What is this? I want you to understand how unusual the moves were today. Before Trump announced a pause, there was a huge
It's
QQQ volume. Oh shit, yeah. Um,
no big deal. Just look at it after. I wanted to
no, it's
point
fair. It's kind of like the unclaimed United airline shorts from 2001, if you kind of know what I'm talking
there was a
about.
lot of very angry people.
Yeah. Oh, one.
Well, then you have the idiots like MTG, who got caught out in her trading because she straight up did her trading on a phone call. And yet, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the dumb blonde.
The lady from
Oh,
Ohio.
oh,
The
oh,
idiot blonde from
oh.
Georgia.
The press lady. Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
right.
no, no, that's not the press
No,
lady. She's one of the
Oh no.
she's
actual
the very loud
House,
Republican lady.
very loud, crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Just
that's right. What do we do with this?
she's
What do we?
basically, excuse my language, but she's batshit insane. So she was caught out with trading outright insider trading on these last two times that the tariffs moved the market, and she got caught out on it.
I don't know. A lot of this is very predictable. You can't say that somebody buying and selling Apple or Amazon is insider trading.
It's
Fair, fair.
insider if you know the exact amount it's moving from and the exact amount it's moving to and
No,
when it's
if
doing it.
if she has a long-term position, adding much lower, much better prices is sort of a a good move.
Oh
You don't,
no, it's a great move if you have trading strategies and whatnot that you're following. But if you are a Congress or a senator who is
here.
getting that information ahead of time before everyone else, like COVID, yeah,
Yeah, the thing is that we all mortal people, right? That, for example, that work in companies, it's public companies, etc. We had blackout periods, right? But I think Congress people don't have any blackouts, right? They can't do whatever they want anytime, right?
exactly. They can trade 24/7.
I think I think you're repeating the left's arguments. And the Republicans will use it against Pelosi too. But Pelosi's trade isn't totally bogus either. Assuming you're going to have a lot of attacks online, um, Palo Alto Networks is the darling of Silicon Valley.
In objection of that, do you recall what happened with Martha Stewart a few years ago?
For insider trading? I don't remember.
Yes.
Yep.
So she actually did insider trading and she
Oh.
was caught by phone. She actually served jail time for that. She's not a government official of any kind, right? I'm just saying that there are legitimate cases
Oh yeah,
of
100%.
insider trading. And I'm picking out Marjorie Taylor Greene not because she's a Republican. I'm not I am an independent. I don't care about the Democrats. I don't care about the Republicans. I care about the Constitution. So that's just to make my own position clear.
Yay, yay,
But
a fellow
um
libertarian. Yay.
exactly, right? But I'm just pointing out MTG because she did do insider trading and it was almost not exactly the same, but almost exactly the same as Martha Stewart's years ago when she did hers.
So what happened with Martha is she didn't pay off the right handler, which is why she went to jail. Otherwise, this would have been a slap on the wrist. And you can tell she's a stubborn FUCK. Like she will die with that grudge. So I can see why she
Oh yeah.
had to go to jail. This one is not simple. And then she's doing commercials with Snoop Dogg. Like wonderful.
Yeah, right? Like Snoop Dogg is calling her a best friend and everything. But
And then
anyway,
and then Snoop Dogg is all over the French Olympics. Like, what in the living hell is going on?
he did all the European Olympics. It was awesome.
It's like and as a hip hop expert, it is a known thing among the initiated that he is an informant. You cannot be running around that free with that much cannabis, with that many violations, and
Yep.
not be under the jail, okay?
Yep.
Like, okay, if you notice, there's a glass ceiling for black figures
Yes.
with any momentum. Snoop knows where that line is and will play beneath that if you catch my drift.
Yes. Yes, he does.
All right, all right. Enough said. All right, I'm glad Priya is on the same page. All right, getting to okay. Now that we're done with the banksters, it's 12 o'clock. We gotta speed up. Oh my God. We're leaving money on the table. All right, domestic news. Let's pivot to XRT. Our US domestics or domestic retail. All right, we gotta do the screenshot. Here we go. And again, as you can see from on balance volume, it is net outflows like there's no tomorrow. This is no longer a blue chip strategy at all. And let's get this picture here. And again, oh my God, 66. It was 70 last week. And then we have older screenshots, started in the 90s. I mean, we've watched this collapse. And I've watched XRT since 2020, so I'm just thrilled that it's finally been moving in a downward direction because for a long time it was sideways there forever. Okay, so that's XRT for you. Next domestic item. This is not tradable. There's some interesting pro-American commentary from the Soros stooge that's occupying the Treasury position. Um, Uh, it's a minor thing, but I don't like that he's a homosexual from the point of view that that's a vector for blackmail. And if you know anything about government workers or diplomatic services or foreign services, the vast majority are very LGBT centric. They are, if not outright homosexuals, they're barely bisexual. If you've ever met any actual spies, if they're not even spies, that's not even the wrong word. Yeah, but yeah, they're agents. It's not good. And Linda confirmed this because she's a former diplomat herself. But yeah. Okay. Let's talk commercial mortgage-backed securities. What's the guy's name from Big Shorts? That guy that started the residential mortgage-backed securities? The big fat guy, Lanieri? Big Shorts. He is the broker that put together the first tranches. Let's look up his name really quick. Okay, whatever. Origin is not important. Let's get to the crux of this. All right. This is New York's biggest mall and one of the biggest in the U.S. Defaulted on a $300 million mortgage. Blah 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 blah. And the owner is now raising the threat of foreclosure and blah blah blah. And a quick call out as well. What is the name of the parent company? It's called a pyramid. And as a writer, the power in a name, when someone tells you who they are, you need to believe them. But yes, naming your holding company as Pyramid is probably not in the best practice checklist. Okay. All right. So yeah. So yes, the commercial real estate sector is going to be imploding. I obviously need to get more data on this, but CMBS, office distress rate, eclipses 17%. I don't know what's the terminal number. I need to find out. I know for subprime auto, it's 12%, and we're at 9 or 10. So, which sector will blow this whole bubble? We don't know. It could be anything, right? But a lot of irons in the fire. So it's 2006 all over again with the commercial real estate contagion. And from talking to my commercial broker friends, it seems like word on the street, the big mantra was survive till 25. And then it's the bank's problem. So yeah, wonderful. CalMaine just had earnings, and we finally got black suits on the case of eggs. So yeah, eggflation, it's a dumb problem. We can move on. Let's talk Delta for a second. We've been looking at jets, the U.S. domestic basket of airlines, and it's been in trouble and very volatile. Holy cow. Um, and I was expecting a very poor whatchamacallit, Delta Airlines earnings, but it was very green. And thank God it was two Sigma strikes, because otherwise, holy shit, that would have hurt. But yeah. So with airline stocks, be careful with earnings. It might be green, or accountants might be front loading revenue or whatever. Who knows what fugazi they're playing. All right, so that's airlines for a second. Let's look at Disney. We haven't talked about them in a while. Go woke, go broke, right? And they've expanded the Orlando site or something, and they're having heavily discounted tickets. Definitely not a sign of weakness at all. So yes, let me show you guys what that deal looks like. So yeah, save 50% on select kids ages 3 to 9. Has anyone gone to Disneyland in the last 2 years with their family? I don't think any of us have. But yes, here's some ivermectin. This is the same as I learned as like dewormer for dogs and cats, and it's an anti-parasitical. And talking to non-woke ER doc on an airplane ride. He said he takes his once a month just to flush out his system. I thought that was awesome. But yeah, I'm trying to get some more ivermectin myself. Okay, cool. Looking at real estate, let's look at ITB, Home Builders ETF. There should be some fireworks here, right? So this is the developers, Home Depots, Lowe's, Swin Paints, all the building related stuff. So this is an easy proxy for permits, replenishment stuff, inventory numbers, blah, blah, blah. Great proxy. So let's look at the numbers here. And we're at the 88 handle, and a couple weeks ago it was in the high 90s. So lots of movement here, and thank God this is a little bit more straightforward of a short, right? So 12% NDX improvement doesn't quite affect Home Depot. So maybe if Warren was a little less dumb, not that he's smart. Let's just hope he's less dumb. Like if he's looking for a better short, maybe he would short the damn ETF that he reports on every dang week. Okay, but yeah. Let's see what's in the chat. Disney. Oh, summer. Okay. Good times, Priya, in Orlando? No?
Yeah, I went
Expen
to World and
oh.
Epcot with some friends of mine, but it's nothing special for me because I lived in Florida for 15 years before I moved to California for 20 years.
Oh, okay. So nothing new under the sun for you. Literally.
Yeah.
Got it. You might as well go to San Antonio. There's probably more new things there for you.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to Washington, D.C. Like, screw all you NGO, life leechers out there on that USAID money. Holy cow, what a con. And it's still ironic to me that a Beijing agent in Elon Musk had to find all this out for us. Wonderful. All right, pivoting to tech news. Let's see. Ross, you've been awfully quiet here. Um, let's see. Shout out to our Nifty 50 homies. Lots of airline fleets rushing to beat the tariffs. I guess this is one of the last boatloads here. But yeah, Apple, holy shit, what are you going to do? Um, and with your planned obsolescence involved, what are you going to do with all those electronics that you got to move? So yeah, let's pull up Apple's chart really quick. And oops, AAPL. AAPL. Yeah, extreme volatility here. So yes, 12% NASDAQ bump does serve Apple, and it's right at the moving average. It's uncanny. 500-day MA in the magenta right here. Uncanny. All right. Um, but yeah, I think we talked tech news to death. Don't go long. Do not buy calls on the Nasdaq. Be very careful. Be very, very careful. Pivot, we don't have labor news quite this week. International news. Germany's being modern Germany. What can I say? Pivoting to oil and commodity news. Yeah, again, Rolex market is changing. Did I cut off the title? I did. Let me paste that into here. Okay, there we go. Okay. But yes, secondhand gold Rolex demand rises as yellow metal hits record. I would call this a proxy gold play. I mean, with jewelry, it's not the spot price or metal content that's expensive. It's the labor. So, and I know because at the flea market, one of the family stands was like cheap jewelry, like specifically cheap sterling silver jewelry. So like the gold and silver in Warren's blood runs deep. Like I'm literally like 0 and 1 years old, and I'm in a box in a pickup truck on the weekends as my parents are working at the flea market. Like, like, like I was legitimately raised a street hawker as like a literal baby. So, um, yeah. Okay. But yes, flea market business acumen definitely helped trading a little bit for sure. But yeah, here's the Bloomberg subdial index that we kind of mentioned earlier in the highlight reel. So yeah, this isn't quite actionable unless you like off book, non-tax compliant alternative investments. We'll leave it at that. Okay. Uh, but if you're gonna play this game, you need weapons and armor. It's just an occupational hazard. And if that's not your cup of tea, don't worry about it. But for the rest of us cowboys, we do like that. So yeah. All right, let's talk metals for a second. Let's look at the gold price as we speak. We did notice that today was a soft dollar, right? At the $100 Dixie value. Gold has ticked up a little bit to almost 31.70. Silver's moved up a little bit. It's dropped the gold silver ratio a little bit as well. And yeah, I'm curious how fund managers are explaining to their boss, like, yeah, I sold all of the gold holdings that we had. Dumb paywall. My apologies. Let's go to the back door. All right. The everything hedge. Look at that beautiful channel. Oh my God. Sexy ass trend lines. Let's pull up GLD. And again, for the zero DTE crowd, I am, trying to figure out how to do the zero DTE stuff. And a little volatile yesterday, understandably, but under normal market conditions, GLD is very sleepy and it has a pace to it. And since my only longs are gold mining companies and silver mining companies, like my long stock value moves up and down with this pace, and it's like an old man under normal conditions. Gold peaks early in the morning, falls asleep by 10 o'clock after its third cup of coffee, and is comatose by 11:30 a.m. And I've been milking that decline for quite a bit. So, and I'm trying to figure out to day trade the gold miners to milk that post-lunch food coma effect. It's kind of working. I'll talk more about it next week at the commodities presentation. Again, who the hell has been thinking about zero DTE commodities besides Warren? So you kind of need the right temperament and skill set to even think about that because gold mining investors are not usually adrenaline junkies like the zero DTE folks. But for some reason, Warren's both, and it's interesting. All right, cool. But yeah, that's gold for you. Good times, and yeah, I got nothing but good things to say about the Yellow Rock. Questions, comments? And I should have just went longer. Like,
Hey,
yes.
Warren, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, you were asking for ideas or themes to be presented in those monthly meetings. Is that correct, or I misunderstood?
Oh yeah, yeah. We're always asking for content ideas.
Yeah.
We understand what people want to hear, but also we don't know everything, and a lot of us are too entrenched. I don't want to say old. I want to say entrenched. So we're kind of lost in the sauce.
Yeah, one
Well,
thing that maybe would interest not only me but others is that I think most of us understand how trading the basics of trading futures. But I think, including myself here, maybe not a lot of us understands the strategies behind trading futures. So if there is any that is, very interesting to share, etc. So if this is a topic of interest and would be good to share, maybe you could include in that list. Strategies for trading options, for trading futures.
right, right. So Kurt and I are very involved in this topic. Our last operations meeting last month, we talked 2 hours about why we can't do futures trading content. Long story short, it's really hard. It's the top of the, pretend there's a Maslow hierarchy of trading or an iceberg. It's the very top. Like futures trading, the margin requirements are extreme. Um,
Actually, the margin requirements aren't extreme, and the problem is that you'll lose your house.
Compared to common stock, it's a totally different consideration overall. And
It's too
the
much leverage.
right, the hours are very drastically different. There's like think of common stock, they don't even know that implied volatility is a thing. Like when Warren Buffett says fear and greed, the options and futures guys have actual numbers against that historically, right? The long stock, common stock, like they don't like they're thinking, what's RSI? Oh, is it 30? Is it 70? Like you guys are idiots. So yeah. So Adolfo, it's really hard because we basically have to teach the entire options curriculum first and then get the futures.
I
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
And
if you're looking at spreads, it's not as hard as everybody thinks.
right, so then
But there's no reason to not be on SPX or NDX.
right, so options on futures, then that's the kind of gateway drug, right? Then we can talk ES minis and stuff and
But it's
then
different margin. Most people would be better off in their stock account doing SPX or NDX.
fair, fair. So, but we understand that as a constant need and demand. So, so the solution for this upcoming 19th meeting was Kurt would I would share the session with Kurt so Kurt can do his CL trading strategy. And maybe you want to do a
Right.
synopsis, Kurt, to explain
Yeah.
that to Adolfo.
Well, I think you hit it pretty much, Warren. I mean, the thing about futures trading direct is this directional trade. So what tools do you use to do your directional trading? Options on futures is trading options. Happens to be trading options like on IBM or NVIDIA. I mean, you have Greeks involved, you have everything involved. And also, the leverage on options on futures is equal to the delta. One future option is, well, what I mean to say is one mini is equal to 100. How do I want to say it? Basically, you can decrease the futures issue by buying options. So like an at the money option is going to be 50 delta, which is half the future, right? It's 50% of one future, one micro, or excuse me, one
But the
mini.
size is a lot bigger. I mean, the
Understood.
big one in my mind is the size is a lot bigger. So if you
Yeah.
have an ES, you're talking about almost $300,000 per contract. Yeah,
Yeah. The
there's a lot of
notional
people
value.
who
Yeah.
can't afford to risk that much.
Correct.
A 1% move is just huge. And
True.
we've been having 3% moves on a regular basis.
But the point being is if you let's say I know let's just not talk about selling options, just talk about buying an option. Buying you have a defined risk because all you can lose is how much the option costs.
And I trade spreads because I am even.
So anyway, it's a beast, and we're going to try and touch on it and see what kind of feedback we get back, and so hang in and come to the meeting.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a more corralled, controlled environment. So it's the context of just CL and nothing else. So Kurt has his strategy, his management practices, once it's in play and what to do and how to gauge the overall landscape. So I think it'll be really helpful. And again, this will be analogous to the super cycle, the commodity super cycle that I'll go over. And my stuff will obviously be heavy on gold and silver, ETFs, and that whole stuff. But yeah. And then again, I'm really weak on the softs. So maybe we can loop in Dave to talk about that.
You either watch it or you don't. I don't watch it, so I don't know shit.
Oh, yeah, so no one's watching the softs. No one knows anything about
Uh,
lumber. Like,
yeah, the minute you get into crops, you have to worry about how much rain and did somebody else's crops not get enough rain or did they get lots of rain? And
yeah, yeah.
you end up with, if everything goes good, somebody in Brazil is making soybeans at half the price of your soybeans.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really complex. It's not the same.
Right, and there's global news that you have to keep up with. That's, it's all over the place. It's different. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Okay.
you got to track like China's the big consumer of soybeans.
Yeah. And they're now one of the biggest importers for that. It's crazy.
Right, right. So it becomes really complex because you have to think about China, you have to think about weather, you have to think about a foreign country with different weather. Just
Tariffs.
Currency risk, you have to think of
yeah,
like
currency risk.
climates, yeah, jet streams, all kinds of stuff.
Or
Vol
like
vol
oil
and
is up and down.
and volcanoes. People don't talk about this. Climate change is absolutely affected by volcanic activity. Like that is the X factor no one can plan for.
Yeah.
And solar activity. Oh, like we don't have time for
Well,
this.
magnetic shift too. There's
And
always
and carbon dioxide is needed for plants. And
yeah, I have a whole bunch of things.
as an actual ecologist, like, the joke is a lot of green policies is communism by another name. It's the watermelon effect. Looks green on the outside, but it's red on the inside. Okay, speaking of red things, we got to end this show. We're having too much fun. And I'm not trading the market as it's closing. Oh my God. But yes, FXI, let's talk China and we'll call it a day. So again, Panda Tech right here, right? So one of the best losers besides ITB, but on the China side, I do want to call out to a couple things I didn't mention. Here's Reddit. And obviously, I love Reddit. I'm a writer. I like text. You have to be smarter to do tech stuff, and it's not Instagram or TikTok. So I just like smarter comments. So here's Reddit, and again, they're Tencent owned. I think 10 or 20% doesn't matter, but it's effectively commie controlled. And they went IPO'd, and lockout ended, and then now it's kind of falling apart. Plus everything else happening and catching stray bullets for China affiliation. So just another interesting shorting candidate. And I want to point out the second one. This is Elon's favorite hard on. I kind of mentioned this in Discord, but this is Weibo, the WeChat, the everything app that Elon freaking loves. So yeah, I got long puts on and it's shit is printing and I'm just all smiles every day with this. So it's nice that the former marketing guy can milk Chinese social media companies here. So between Reddit and Weibo, I'm kind of proud of that. So, but yeah, Pinduoduo, we talked about Alibaba is having some positive inflows from just it's the number one darling in the Dragon Index, but I think that will be extremely short-lived. And Beijing, just as the U.S. has to debase, Beijing has to capitulate. And look, I remember China in the 80s and the 90s. I was there. There were Shanghai, hell, we had wooden shit buckets. Like there wasn't indoor plumbing. Okay, zero TD finally closing. But yeah, like I remember a very piss poor Shanghai, like in the late 80s when it was rickshaws and riding a taxi was extremely luxurious. So, and if you were an American, everyone assumed you were rich. This was before China joined the WTO. Like, yeah, it was just it was just a different world. So yeah, good times. Last but not least, yeah, we're watching the Shanghai Index, and the reason it's glowing so much is the Bank of China is doing massive bail-ins, and they kind of banned short selling among other things, and really restricted derivatives. So there's not a lot of instruments to leverage the downside risk, by
Yeah.
design.
730 is huge.
Pardon? 730?
730 is huge. I've
Yeah,
seen a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
6.8, 6.9, maybe even 7.1s, but
We
that,
we are floating at extremes here.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's gigantic.
Desperation. They do not want this. This is absolutely desperation. No choice but to do this. And have fun with your private currency, China. So yeah. All right. So that's week 15 where everything is fine, guys. Please stop asking questions and complaining. And for the love of God, please stay hedged. It's a risk on month, if not year. Questions, comments? Ross, you've been awfully quiet. Joe, you didn't say anything. Oh, Priya to take off? Okay, cool. No worries. That's cool. All right, let me stop the recording.